Crusader fans, to another season of the Valpo Coaches Show here on ValpoAthletics.com and on YouTube on Valpo Athletics channel. I'm Aaron Leavitt. Alongside me today for the first edition of this year's Coaches Show is women's soccer head coach John Marovich. Coach Marovich, good to have you along with me today.
It's great to be back and excited for a new season.
We'll start off today just talking a little bit about your exhibition games. You had two exhibitions a couple weeks into training camp. Neither of them went your way result-wise, a 4-3 loss to Northern Illinois and a 1-0 loss to Loyola. But I'm sure there were some positives to take from it. Looking at the box scores, you ran out 21 players both games, so getting a lot of people, a lot of experience out on the field. What did you take away from the exhibition games, despite the scorelines, on a positive side? And then what did you see from them that you have some room to improve on before the regular season begins?
Well, I think there's a lot of things to be excited about. You know, I don't really go and put much stock in maybe the end result of those matches. More so I'm looking at what the individual performances are going to be and what's the team doing as a unit. And I think we improved from the game against Northern Illinois into the Loyola match, certainly from a defensive standpoint. But it's the exciting part about this group is we're trying to integrate 12 new freshmen into the team and trying to really formulate what this identity of this group is going to be. And I think we're starting to find some of those consistencies as we start to go through those two matches. So the positives are that we're starting to really start to see some of the things that this team's going to be able to do. The things to work on is it's going to take some time to get 12 new freshmen along with the current returners all on the same page and really getting them working as a collective unit that, you know, doesn't have that experience of previous years.
You mentioned the 12 newcomers on this year's team. Obviously, a lot of new faces to integrate into any squad. You know, do you do anything different in training camp when you have that many new faces, that many new players to kind of integrate with a good core of returning players?
Well, what I think really happens is that you have to really take your time before you make decisions on individual positions or the team shape that you're going to play or the system you're going to play. You've got to be able to give everybody that opportunity to really kind of play themselves through it. So it really hasn't given us an opportunity to really just put a group together. We really ran a lot of kids in and out, same way in the exhibition games, but really even in training, just really trying to see which players work well together. There's a lot of times you get 2 or 3 kids that have good chemistry together, so then you want to start to kind of put them in similar parts of the field so that you can develop that rhythm. So really the difference has been that we've really not put together an 11 or a 12 group that really works most of the time together. We've really ran a lot of kids in and out of that to see really what's going to be our identity with this group.
You mentioned at the beginning of training camp to me about this was the best year you've had fitness testing wise for everyone coming back, not just the returnees, but all the newcomers as well, all doing well in their preseason fitness testing. Now, how can you translate that fitness out onto the field? How do you make the team better utilizing the fitness of your squad?
Well, they did it. You know, that's why we're excited about this group, because they came in, they had a high level of fitness. So the intensity of preseason camp has been very high. So as we're going through trying to figure out what the best system is and what this identity is going to be, it's hard because everybody's competing with a high level of intensity in practice. So it's very, very competitive. And that's just going to make them stronger and that much better down the road. It's just going to take some time because anytime you integrate that many new players and trying to find that rhythm with your group, it's just going to take some time. But the positive part of that is that the intensity level of practice is outstanding. The energy is good. The attitude is fantastic. We just need to keep ourselves in a very level-headedness about us so that we don't put too much stock in the negative things that happen and we don't put too much stock in the positive things that happen. And we just keep worrying about us getting better each and every day.
Looking at your early season schedule before conference play begins, 7 out of 10 non-league games at home this year, including the first 3. What are some highlights of that non-league schedule that fans should really look for? Games that'll really test your squad.
Well, it's a great non-conference schedule. You open up with DePaul from the Big East, and then you follow that up against Miami of Ohio that won the MAC last year and beat Ohio State in the first round of the NCAA tournament. And then the following weekend, you follow that up with a home game against Grand Canyon, and then on the road at Kent State. So there's really no letdown in our schedule all year. Those are some of the highlights. Northwestern will be coming to to campus here in a couple of weeks from the Big Ten. So our kids are going to get tested right from the beginning, and that's the way we want it. Our intensity level of practice is just showing us that that's the type of competition that we have to play in and day out, so that we are prepared for the grind and the challenge of the Horizon League.
Well, as you mentioned, those first 2 home games this coming weekend, DePaul here Friday evening, 7:30 p.m. on Brown Field, and then Sunday welcoming Miami of Ohio at 1 p.m. on Brown Field. First 3 games this year at home, 7 out of 10 of the non-league schedule. So plenty of opportunities this year for Crusader fans to come out to Brown Field and see the Valpo women's soccer team in action. If you can't come out, there will be a few games streamed on the Horizon League Network, free video streaming. Look online at valpoathletics.com to find out more about those games. Some games will also have audio streams as well. And you can follow the women's soccer team online. On Twitter, follow at ValpoWSO, like Valpo Women's Soccer on Facebook to keep track of everything that's going on with the Crusader Women's Soccer program. Coach Marovich, thank you for joining me here today on the Valpo Coaches Show.
You're very welcome, my pleasure.
And as always, for all your Crusader news, follow at Valpo Athletics on Twitter, like Valpo Athletics on Facebook. Next week on the Coaches Show, volleyball head coach Karen Avery will be my guest. And for the first time this year, you can submit questions for possible use on the Coaches Show. Tweet them at Valpo Athletics if you have any questions for volleyball head coach Karen Avery. Until next time, I'm Aaron Leavitt. Go Crusaders.